Hello FlossTube, I am here with you today with how I do things. This will be a series that I will do now and then, nothing planned. If there is something you want me to show how I do, please let me know and I will do a little video and upload it. So one of the things I have gotten question about doing is how I do my how I do my overview of my percentage done on my full coverage project. So this is from my QS Huggable. This was one of the first I did where I tried out a lot of different things to see what worked for me. I basically made, I gridded out the pages. I gridded out the whole pattern, how big it will be, and then I marked off the pages. Then, as I did the 100 Days of Hay challenge, I did first start with different symbols for each day, what I had completed. Then I went over to do colors, because I got myself this set of colored friction pens. And the great thing about these are the fact, if I mark off something wrong, then at the edge, at the top, I can just use that to remove it. So I really like marking off with these just in case I do a mistake. And since there are so many different colors in the beginning, I did all the 12 different colors each and every day. Now I have gone down to only using the 10 first colors and then starting at the top again. Especially for the 100 Days of Hay challenges, because then it's easy to see each 10 day. And with my QS Huggable, I did write down like all the different days in the beginning, how much percentage I have done, where I was in my 100 Days of Hay challenge, the first one and then the second one. And you can see I was getting sloppier and sloppier with my writing in the end. And I also just did these boxes where I did write the date and marked off the chart. So I know approximately what days I did what, just depending on what color it is. I have also made one, I have made one for all my full coverages pieces. So this is my Pokemon. This I don't do, I'm not focusing as much as completing stitching page by page parking. So here it is a little bit more here and there stitches done, as you can see. This is before everything in this blue color is before I started making these graph papers. And here you can see from my Butterfly Galore, this is my now ongoing 100 Days of Hay. Still have some days I haven't marked off yet. And I tried doing a Mirabilia, but I haven't gotten it to work well yet, so that needs some more thinking about how I am going to do it. So what I wanted to do today was just show you how I grid one of my full coverage pieces that I haven't started yet. So I am just going to take a Tilton Craft. So this is Beauty and the Beast 350 by 350 stitches. Normally I will use a permanent pen when making the grid lines, but today I will use friction just so I can remove it, because I don't know when I will start Beauty and the Beast, so I don't really have a need to have it charted up yet. So I usually write down a title of pattern. So Beauty and the Beast, and then I mark off in a parentheses what company it's from. So this will be Tilton Craft. Then I write down fabric count. That is just something I like to know for myself. And then I'm gonna start making the grid. So you can see this is a graph paper that I have in a book. But I think you can also get this in the States. And I'm pretty sure you can get different sizes of your graph paper. I can only get, this is the smallest size I can get. But it works fine for me. So each square is 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters on this one. I just mark my corner like this. And if you want, you can like write 0, because this is like 0.0 in your chart. Each block represents a block in the pattern, so it's a 10 by 10 block. So here basically I will mark off this block when I have done 10 by 10 stitches. This pattern was 350 by 350 stitches, and since each block is 10, I just divide this number by 10 and end up with 35. So I know I am going to do 35 blocks to get the length and the width of the pattern. So then it's just going to start counting. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now I'm counting like the full, what it would been, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. But you can also just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So this is the edge. And I usually use a ruler to mark this off. Now I have found the length. And as you can see, I marked off each 100 block. That is just to make it easier when I'm marking off the pages. So. I will just fast do the other line. this. Because I'm going to just take this one away afterwards, I am just doing this by hand quickly. As I said, normally I would use a ruler, but if you don't want to, you don't need to. There is no wrong just doing it by hand. It will still work its purpose. So, for quickness sake, I just do it that way. So now I mark off the pages. So I need to go to the pattern. You can see page 1 of Beauty and the Beast. And you can see the page ends at 70 on this in Tilton Craft. So here is 100, so 19, 80, 70. And if you don't like counting backwards, you can just start here and count. Do like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So here is, I'm gonna make a line just straight down because this is gonna be the width of each page is the same, so every pages down here will be 70. And then I want to go to page 2. Look at the corner, it's 140, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 140. Again, just mark off the line all the way down. I'm doing it all the way down. Sorry, I was a little bit out of. Then I go to page 3, and I intuitively I would know this is 210, and that is correct. So 210 is this line here going down. Then the next one will be 280, and just to show you that it is 280. So this is 280 from 300. And the reason why is because I noticed that 70, 140, 210 is just, if you think instead 7, 14, 21, 28, it is the multiplication of 7. So, and the next one now will be 350. So this, and that is correct. So that is the last page on this row. And now we need to find out how far down every pattern goes. So back to page 1. I could have done this while I was on page 1. Try to make it just a tiny bit bigger so you don't see too much of the pattern. And you can see it ends in 80. So then I can mark off, and I do it all over because everyone on this line will go to 80. So now I have page 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And yes, I usually mark them off by numbers because that is easier when I stitch and when I am marking off what blocks I have completed, that I am absolutely sure first off what page I am on, and secondly where I am in the page. And sometimes I will work like down, and then I know since I will write down that this is page 6, then I know that if I did a square down here before doing the rest, I know this is page 6. So it's also a help when I stitch to see what pages is underneath to the side and diagonal of the page I am on. So page 6, we need to look out to get the next, see how long down the next row of pages go, and it's 160. 60. So I mark this off all the way. Just quickly write down the pages. And if you now have seen this was 80, 160, and if you instead just take away 10, then this is 8, 16. So the next one is going to be 240, because we're doing the 8 multiplication or 80 multiplication, no matter, depending on how you see it, and that is correct. I will always double check, even though I know that that is what it is supposed to be. Especially with Heids, because they have an overlap in their pages. So you can't do that quick thinking of where each page will be on a Heid. I will always look at the Heid because those pages will end like 182. And then I actually will mark off that that it's just a little bit into, if the page on a Heid ended on, say, 22, then I would do 1, 2, and just a tiny bit to show that. Just sidetracking a little bit on that one. So, back to this one. Now we need to get to page 160 and see that the next number is 320. So we mark that off. You can easily now see that this is the last set of pages because they are not long enough to be the same pages as this. So now we have marked off all our pages. And the thing I will do now is find out how many squares I am doing, because I will calculate my percentage done for each square done. So there is 35 squares in this direction and this direction. So I take 35 by 35 and get 1,225. So total of 125 blocks. And blocks is 10 by 10. And then when I have the total, I want to find out how much one block is in percentage. So I will then take 1 divided by the number of blocks and multiply by 100 to get percentage. So 1 divided by 1,225 times 100 is 0.082. I will round up to 82. So usually now what I do, I will try to find out if there is like a number I can go out from to see better to calculate. If not, I will just once in a while, when I have marked off some squares, say I have done 12 of the squares, I will take 12 divided by 1225, the total blocks, times 100, and then I get 0.98% done. And sometimes I will just do in my head that if I have 2 blocks done, that equals 0.164% done, because that is 0.082 times 2. This is basically the same algorithm you can use to calculate how many percentage you have done on stitch count. But then instead of doing blocks, say that you have stitched on this pattern 3,985 stitches, then you would need to take 350 by 350, because that is the total amount of stitches you are supposed to do. So you divide your stitches you have done, 3,985, by 1,250. So 3,985 divided by and then multiply by 100, and you get 3.25% done, rounded down. So that is how you calculate it. That is the algorithm, both for stitch count or blocks. Do what suits you the best. You can also, in Excel, you can add this formula into your Excel spreadsheet, and then you can calculate where you are each and every time digitally. So, and I think maybe Stitching Mommy is going to do tutorial on that. When it comes to knowing where I am stitching wise, I don't want to use too much time on it because it takes away stitchy time. So I do this low tech, just a normal graph paper with a pen and some color pencils, and mark off, and once in a while I will calculate where I am. And sometimes you are lucky, as I was with my I'm gonna show you. My SK Butterfly Galore, because what I managed to do was finding out that one block is 0.5% progress, so a total of 5 blocks is 4% progress. So this one I don't need to put in a formula to calculate, because I know that each 5 blocks is 4%, and I know that if I have done then 6 blocks, it will be 4.8. If I have done 7 blocks, it will be 5.6, because it's 5 plus 2 blocks. and so on and so on. Some patterns you can't do that on. As I said, when I will do a Beauty and the Beast for real, I will try and find approximately what I can do. As you see, this is not too far away from 80, 0.080, and most likely I can use that to my advantage to know how much I have done. And if I do that, if I say that this one block is 0.080, I will always round down, so I know with 100% certainty that the percentage I have done isn't wrong in the direction that it says I have done more than I have. The only thing it will do is show a little bit less than the progress I actually have done. And that is just my preferred way, especially since I work page by page. I don't always get to mark off each and every block as fast as I want, and then the percentage done will sometimes be lower what it actually is, but I'm fine with that as long as it doesn't show I am 30% of the way done and in reality I was only 25, because that would get me down. So I sometimes do a few tricks just to, for myself, easier see where I am. And once in a while I will calculate the correct amount of percentage I have done, but rounding this down and getting an approximately percentage done is fine by me for the most part. So that was what I have done for you today. I hope you enjoyed. If there is any more questions, please let me know, and I can do like how to do this 1.1 just to add in if there was anything else you was wondering or wanted to see. If there are any other things you want me to show how I do when it comes to stitching, if it's organizing, if it is stitching itself, if it's sparking, how I stop and end my threads, how I put my fabric in the hoop or the Q-snap, let me know and I will do more of these small videos to show you how I do things. How I do it, it's not an 100% correct way of doing things, but it's the 100% correct way for me to do things. Take what you know and make it your own, and I hope it will bring just a tiny bit of joy to your stitching, especially if you're like me and don't want to use a whole lot of time to figure out how much percentage done you have, but you want to see at least some percentage where you are. Then you can do it as low tech as this and easily. I have this on my table beside my stitching, so I easily mark off what I have done. The 100 Days of Hay Challenge, there I am a little bit bad in marking off just because I'm doing it each and every day. Normally what I will do is when I have a rotation, say my Lady and the Tiger, I will use one of the colors for one rotation. Say I have 4 days. And at the end of the 4 days, I will mark off where I am in the pattern. And the next rotation, I take a new color. And at the end of that rotation, I will mark off the squares I have done. And then I will also sometimes calculate exactly where I am. So, but if it's each and every day I stitch on it for like 100 days or 90 days for challenges like that, then I will just do a quick way for me to calculate in my head where I am percentage wise, and I normally write it down as you saw with as I have done with my QS Huggable. So that was all, I think. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you did get a few pointers as to what you want to do or what you don't want to do. That is also a way of figuring your way, is finding out what doesn't suit you at all. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.